Police in Spain today unleashed a violent crackdown on Catalans trying to vote for independence. Jonathan Vigliotti is following this in our London bureau.
Spanish riot police moved in after local Catalonia police refused to crack down on voters across the region. Some officers aggressively ripped people away from polling sites. Others fired rubber bullets. Catalonia police say more than 450 people were injured in the clashes. But this national show of force, backed by the anti-independence Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy, was no match for people who packed Barcelona's streets today. They turned out by the thousands to defiantly vote in an illegal referendum for independence from Spain. The autonomous district of Catalonia, led by President Carles Puigdemont, approved the referendum last month, but never got permission from the Spanish government, who threatened to use all means possible to stop it. Recent polls showed slightly less than half of Catalonia's 7.5 million people supported leaving the nation. Spain has postponed similar referendums in the past out of fear of losing the economically prosperous district. Today's referendum is a sign that Catalonians have grown tired of waiting, and Spain's reaction seems ultimately to have backfired. World leaders have condemned these scenes, as has Barcelona's world-famous soccer club, who played in front of an empty stadium today after a decision to close the doors to fans because of the violence.
Spanish police successfully closed 79 of the 2,300 polling stations. But Catalan officials called this crackdown a violation of human rights and said they would appeal to European authorities. Elaine.
Jonathan, thanks.
Catalan president says his state has one right to independence. Barcelona, Spain. Catalonia's regional government declared the landslide win for the yes side in a disputed referendum on independence from Spain that degenerated into mayhem Sunday, with more than 800 people injured as riot police attacked peaceful protesters and unarmed civilians trying to cast their ballots. Catalonia has won the right to become an independent state, Catalan President Carles Puigdemont said after the polls closed, adding that he would keep his pledge to declare independence unilaterally if the yes side wins. Today the Spanish state wrote another shameful page in its history with Catalonia, Puigdemont added, saying he would appeal to the European Union to look into alleged human rights violations during the vote. Catalan regional government spokesman Jordi Turull told reporters early Monday that 90% of the 2.26 million Catalans who voted chose the yes side in favor of independence. He said nearly 8% of voters rejected independence and the rest of the ballots were blank or void. He said 15,000 votes were still being counted. The region has 5.3 million registered voters, and Turull said the number of ballots didn't include those confiscated by Spanish police during violent raids that aimed to stop the vote. As voting ended, Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy said Catalans were fooled into taking part in an illegal vote, calling it a mockery to democracy, BBC News reports. No one knows what will happen if Catalan officials follow through on their pledge to use the vote as a basis for declaring independence, a provocation that would possibly remove from Spain one of its most prosperous regions, including the coastal city of Barcelona, the regional capital. Hundreds of police armed with truncheons and rubber bullets were sent in from other regions to confiscate ballots and stop the voting, and amateur video showed some officers dragging people out of polling stations by the hair, throwing some downstairs, kicking them and pushing them to the ground. Anguished, frightened screams could be heard. Police were acting on a judge's orders to stop the referendum, which the Spanish government had declared illegal and unconstitutional, and Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy said going forward with the vote only served to sow divisions. In a televised address after the majority of polls closed Sunday, he thanked the Spanish police, saying they had acted with firmness and serenity, comments sure to anger Catalans. Spanish Foreign Minister Alfonso Dastis said the violence, while unfortunate and unpleasant, was proportionate. If people insist in disregarding the law and doing something that has been consistently declared illegal and unconstitutional, law enforcement officers need to uphold the law, Dastis told the Associated Press in an interview. Catalans favoring a break with Spain have long wanted more than the limited autonomy they now have, arguing that they contribute far more than they receive from the central government, which controls key areas including taxes and infrastructure. The police aggression on Sunday was likely to only fuel the passion for independence, and the main separatist group urged the regional government to declare independence after the violent crackdown. By day's end, Catalan health services said 844 civilians had been treated in hospitals for injuries, including 2 in serious condition and another person who was being treated for an eye injury that fit the profile of having been hit by a rubber bullet. 33 police officers were also injured. At the Pau Clara school in Barcelona, amateur footage filmed by one voter showed police roughing up unarmed people standing in their way. Amateur video from other locations showed similar tactics, with people seen being hit, kicked and thrown around by police, including elderly people with their dogs, young girls and regular citizens of all stripes. Many tried to shield themselves from being smacked on the head. There were also some signs of provocation by activists. In footage released by the Spanish Interior Ministry, some protesters were seen throwing objects and metal barriers at riot police. Elisa Urruca, who was waiting to vote outside the Estel school in central Barcelona, reacted with anger when National Police agents yanked her and other prospective voters out of the way, then smashed open the door and confiscated the ballot boxes. She had been planning to vote in favor of keeping Catalonia part of Spain, but decided instead to join the March for Independence. She moved to another polling station to try and cast her vote in favor of breaking away. I was always against independence, but what the Spanish state is doing is making me change my mind, she said. The National Police and Civil Guard are treating us like criminals. There was no organized campaign for the no side in the vote, which most national political parties boycotted because it lacked legal guarantees and was suspended by the courts. Polls in recent years have shown roughly half of the 7.5 million residents of the region want to remain a part of Spain. Mari Martinez, a 43-year-old waitress, said she didn't vote. "I don't lean toward independence, because we are part of Spain," she said. "Today's violence is not good for anybody. We never should have gotten to this point. Politicians haven't done their job, and they should have reached an agreement a long time ago." A member of the Israeli parliament, sent to observe the vote, said she was shocked by the use of rubber bullets by Spanish police against crowds of unarmed voters. "We did expect a normal democratic process," said Ksenia Svetlova, part of a delegation of 33 observers invited by Catalan officials. "We knew that a lot of police were here, but still, there should be a respect for the will of the people to vote regardless of what you think of the referendum." Tensions were running so high that Barcelona played its soccer game against Las Palmas without fans after the team announced the match would be played behind closed doors shortly before kickoff, with thousands of soccer fans already outside the stadium. Barcelona wanted to postpone the game but said the Spanish league refused the request. Manuel Condeminas, a 48-year-old IT manager who tried to block police from driving away with ballot boxes on Sunday, said police had kicked him and others before using their batons and firing the rubber bullets. Elsewhere, civil guard officers, wearing helmets and carrying shields, used a hammer to break the glass of the front door and a log cutter to break into the Sant Juliana Ramis Sports Center near the city of Girona that was being used as a polling station. A woman injured outside the building was wheeled away on a stretcher by paramedics. Clashes broke out less than an hour after polls opened, and not long before Puigdemont, the Catalan regional president, was expected to turn up to vote at the sports center. Polling station workers reacted peacefully and broke out into songs and chants challenging the officers' presence. Puigdemont was forced to vote in Cornellà de Terri, near the northern city of Girona, his spokesman said.